Welcome back to your favorite show, How Successfully Fail at Being a YouTuber. This time, as you can see, we're back in our old studio. I was not able to afford the corner office of my daughter, so we needed to go back to this colorful and full of picture studio. Hope you don't mind. However, in exchange for that, I actually was able to afford better clothing. Since today I will be teaching you a few things I only find appropriate to increase the credibility if I were something more appropriate to the occasion. So without further ado, let's continue where we left last time. This is another class, another episode of Undocumented Spanish. Be welcome and get ready. So last time we covered some basics and very important ground because we focus in how to start a conversation, how to reply to basic questions. I don't know if you remember a few of the words, but if you don't, you can go back and check Undocumented Spanish Volume 1. This time we will be focusing in characters, in persons, in people. So what we will learn today is how to refer to people depending on their characteristics or something that they do or are famous for. We will focus today in adjectives or pseudonyms to refer to people. All right? So our first word is Federico. Federico is actually a name, but Federico in undocumented Spanish, it's related to the word feo. Feo meaning ugly. Why? Because Federico sounds similar to feo. Federico. Now, if we apply the same rule, you can also say Federico, federal, feroz. The next word refers to a person that is crazy, a little bit mentally out of balance. The word in Spanish for this is loco. So the word in undocumented Spanish that we use could be locuaz, tocadiscos, Lucas, Lurias, Lorenzo, okay? Loco, Lucas. It's similar sound. Lucas sounds also like Lurias. So Loco, Lucas, Lurias. Then from there it evolves to Lorenzo. Loco, Lucas, Lurias, Lorenzo. And finally, tocadiscos. Tocadiscos means record player, one of these old vinyl discs. Word is when someone is abusive, like it could be physically abusive or abusing authority. When somebody is abusive, we say manchado. Actually, manchado means something that it's stained. It has a stain, but manchado in undocumented Spanish means abusive. And because it sounds similar, the other version is manchego. Manchego or manchado meaning abusive. Manchego is actually the name of a cheese. A very famous word is the word gorrón. Gorrón refers to a person that actually goes to somewhere without being invited, and yet he invites himself and it doesn't pay or it does not contribute for whatever expenses this situation requires. So the word is gorrón, and it also gorrión, which is a little bird, but it sounds like gorrón. From there's the expression also la gorra, which means to go somewhere to get things for free. Then again, you are inviting yourself, you are not paying anything, and you are getting something in return. So gorrión, gorrón means somebody that invites himself and gets everything without giving anything. So another word is the word Ricardo. Ricardo is actually a name that translates like Richard, but in undocumented Spanish, Ricardo means wealthy, rich. Why? Because the word in Spanish is rico. Because the sound is similar, rico, Ricardo. When you refer to someone that is wealthy, you can say Ricardo. But you can also use it for another use, which is somebody that is good looking, physically attractive. That person can have the adjective Ricardo or Ricarda if it's a girl. When someone is brave or it actually behaves like it's brave, although in my inside is afraid, we can use the word picudo. Picudo comes from the word pico, which is something spiky with a point, sharp point. So picudo is a way to call somebody that it's brave, courageous, but also that brags about that bravery and courage. Another way to refer to that is rifado, but rifado comes more from the sense that it's someone that it's actually accomplished something. The brave and the courage comes from an actual action that already took place that proved his courage or his skills or his bravery. So someone that is rifado, it's someone that is brave, but it proved to be brave. There's another expression which is sácale punta, like to sharpen something, but meaning that it has been already sharp. That's why it's brave, it's courageous. Picudo, sácale punta, rifado. When someone is not good at something, like in Spanish would be that he's bad at something, you say malo. Él es malo para jugar fútbol. He's bad to play soccer. So we use the expression maleta. Why? Because maleta, which actually means suitcase, sounds more like malo. Malo, maleta. Someone is coward. We have an expression in Spanish that is le saca. Le saca means that he is not brave, or he would not like to do that because he's not brave enough to do that. So because of the word sacarle, then you use the word sacatón as an adjective. So to refer to someone that it's coward, you say eres un sacatón. Now, when someone is good at something, you can actually use the expression pilas. Pila means battery, but it means that he's using its energy, its battery, or the battery is really charged, so he's all into it. So he's putting all its effort and its skills at that one thing, and most likely it'll accomplish it successfully and good. So we say that person is very energetic and using all that to succeed. We say esa persona es pilas. The word to express someone that has a good set of skills for something is hacha. Hacha means axe that you use to cut, this big sharp tool. So why? Because it's a sharp in their skills about something. So you can say esa persona es un hacha. That person, it's an axe because it's sharp, it's strong, and it will succeed in applying its skills to accomplish something. Another expression very common that actually is used in many places. The expression is martillo. Martillo means hammer. And we call the people that is cheap, that will not give a cent for something that he does not or it does not consider that is worth it, we call martillo. We also use the word codo, like elbow. When someone is always contradicting arguments, whether the arguments are valid or not, but when this person just go against the arguments without even listening, we use the word Contreras. Contreras, it's actually a last name, but in this case, Contreras sounds like the word contrario, which contrario means opposite or to oppose to something or someone, to be against any argument, regardless if it's valid or not giving much of a fuck, just because you want to be against something. Another very famous one is the word conchudo. Conchudo comes from the word concha. Concha means a shell. So conchudo refers to a person that is not really caring much about anything, and that it's a very lazy in a way, lazy physically and lazy mentally, because then again it doesn't give much of a fuck about anything. And this comes from the fact that most of the animals that have a shell are slow and seem to be very peaceful, very easygoing. So conchudo is mostly lazy mentally and physically. Another expression that I like that is to refer to someone is the expression mátalas callando. So it's kind of like kill with silence. And this refers to a person that seems to be very quiet, seems to be very reserved, very introvert, but you notice that there's something behind it, that person is not totally quiet and peaceful, but it's a very smart person that calculates everything, and it's very wise usually when it's about to make a comment or take an action. So it's a very cold and calculative person that does not speak, but rather bites kind of person. It doesn't bark, but it bites, and it can bite strongly. Mátalas callando. Now we follow with some of the adjectives that are a bit in the negative side to refer to people that had malicious sort of habits. And we start with the kind of like a common, a basic one, which is pedote. Pedote comes from the word pedo. Pedo, it's complicated because it can mean many things, but in this context, when it refers to a person, it does mean that this person is an alcoholic. Why? Because irse de peda, irse de pedo, ir a la peda also means to drink. It's related to drink. So pedote means that it's a heavy drinker. So that basically is an alcoholic. Now, when it refers to something other than alcohol, like I will use the term cheap drugs for the most part, like even illegal chemicals that are sold for in a hardware store. Some of these substances are used for people that cannot afford actual drugs, so they just use this. So we call these people te por ocho. Te por ocho is cheap drug addict that uses cheap drugs, and it's mostly every day inhaling these substances or using these substances. If it's something else like weed, for example, we say grifo or grillo. Why? Because grifo and grillo sound similar. So that means to a person that it's commonly smoking weed. Of course, then the obvious is marihuano, pacheco. Pacheco means to get high, so it's people that is high. There's another word that is kind of popular, and this one actually refers mostly to a part of the population. Like if you were to divide based on socioeconomics and education, there's a part of the population that has a word, and I honestly think that they could refer themselves in a way, if you use not a negative connotation, or maybe even so, to identify themselves. And this word is ñero. Ñero is the people from the hood. It's the not necessarily malicious people or gangsters in this case. No, it's just people that grew up in the hood, that they don't have a high education, and that they do not go out from the old habits. Then again, it doesn't have to be someone that is malicious. It's just the fact that it's someone that it doesn't have a higher education, and it lives in certain secluded environment, which doesn't allow him to see the whole picture or to see beyond their neighborhood limits. Also, you can refer or use that adjective to refer to other things, like for example the way people speak. So if somebody speaks like in the hood, you can say, suenas como un ñero, or ese español es ñero, like your language or your accent is ñero. When you do actually incur in some malicious activities, in this case you have a different way to refer to these people. One of them, it's actually chaca. It comes from the word chacal, jackal, which is this predator and also this animal that is a scavenger, but it's quite aggressive. And last but not least, going again to this negative connotation, is the word uña. Uña means nail, fingernail. But in this particular case, when you say somebody that is uña, you actually mean that is a teeth. Kind of like because it stretches the fingernails to grab something, you know. We have another word to refer to them. The obvious one would be rata, raton, which is mouse, but I guess rat. But also in the same line of thought, we say conejo, rabbit, rodents that are running around, and they are fast and agile, because thieves, when they grab something from you. They are famous for running and hiding. If you like this episode of Undocumented Spanish, I have more material for you to learn more words and more expressions. But I guess it's a lot to process. So thank you, and till the next time.